another episode of Galactic Gumbo, episode 46. The All Nerd Topic podcast. We got someone new. We're going to break him in. Tyler, I know from Stasis Lock. And Tyler, tell people where they can find you at, stuff of that nature.
Stasis Lock.
Or in Canada, right?
Or in Canada.
Okay.
Yeah, you just do the Canadian maiden call, which is the moose knuckle shuffle, and I'll come running.
All right.
And you're mighty close to the border right now, aren't you? So
yeah, like half an hour away from it.
I got a question since you bring that up. So did you actually celebrate the 4th yesterday with us by just sitting and watching the fireworks across the border, or how'd that work out for you?
Normally we do, but last night we didn't. We had family over, and we were just getting together and shooting the breeze. But normally when we come down here in the summer, because I'm visiting my dad and he lives down here, when we come down, we'll go down to the lake. I don't know if it's the lake or the river, but there's, I think we're right across from Michigan, and they do fireworks right on the lake there.
Oh, okay.
So we'll go down and watch that.
Yeah,
but we didn't do it this year.
Okay, but you're able to see all the fireworks, I guess, from that lake.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. Okay, man. I was kind of curious if Canadians actually celebrate the 4th of July, even though it was, another country's celebration.
Well, Canada
Day is July 1st.
Do what now?
Canada Day is July 1st.
Oh, that's right. I remember.
And it's what? Independence Day is July 4th?
Yes.
That's what, yeah. So, I mean, we got fireworks for 4 days straight, essentially.
Oh, wow. Must be fun.
Yeah.
Inexpensive. Dakota, tell people where they can find you at.
You can find me everywhere at Primal Sabbath.
All right. So we're going to have.
Oh, I know where else you can find me. You can find me everywhere at Daltanians DX.
Hey! Might as well. He didn't want to come on tonight.
I know.
We shut you down.
Find out who your friends are.
I know, right?
You're not making that deluxe Baldwin money. That's why.
I know. I'm not making no money. I don't have the subs like he does. But anyways, we're going to throw out some topics here. We're going to talk about, and this here is an interesting topic I thought about earlier today. Me and Dakota have gone to 2 conventions in the past, 3 weeks, I guess it was, or within the last month. Anyways, and Tyler, you'll be going next week to TFCon Toronto. When you go to conventions and you're looking at people's merchandise that's for sale, does it bug you that either A, they don't price it, or B, they do price it and you think they're overpricing it?
I mean, I appreciate the prices there because I can, it doesn't really bother me one way or another. Like, I appreciate when the prices are there because it saves me the time to be like, how much is this? But people are open to price whatever they want, however they feel, because everyone's got personal value in what they're selling, right?
Right.
It's just up to me to decide whether or not their prices are what I'm willing to pay. And I don't want to say 9 times out of 10, but usually if it's a price that's too high for me, I'll just put it down, say thanks, and walk away. It's no big deal. What I don't like is when people have all these items either priced out or not on their table and they're still got dust on them. That's what I don't like. Yes, that's happening.
Oh, so you're saying they pulled it off their collection shelf before they came to the show?
Absolutely. That drives me up the wall.
There's only one person I know here locally who would do something like that, but I've never I can't say I've run across that where, you've gone to someone's, table and found it covered in dust, or they just picked it up at the yard sale and it has Coke stains all settled into it, stuff of that nature. Well, I mean, you never know what you go to a yard sale. It's probably some 4-year-old's collection that they're trying to sell.
I had a friend of mine who I did something similar to what I do with Dakota here at the Big Bad Toy Swamp. But he picked up a few things for me, and he threw in a couple extras for free. And one of the things that he sent me was a Jetstorm drone from Beast Machines, but it had so much grime and dirt on it, and it was missing a couple pieces. But the grime and dirt, it took me 2 days just to clean it off. That also bothers me.
There's sometimes that, and I don't want to put the store's name on blast because I do a lot of business with them. It's not like a big, box store. It's they deal kind of exclusively in, buying and reselling. But sometimes I'll get stuff from them and it's just like cake. You know what I mean? But it's not that often. So, I kind of just roll with the punches, I guess. But I mean, yeah, sometimes it's and like that, them's the beats, I guess. Like that's just kind of what you got to deal with. But to answer the question at hand, I cannot stand when something is not priced. Like if it's just a bunch of bags up there, like that, there's no prices on it, and it's like, what you got on this? And they're like, it's like, dude, I don't have time for that shit. At that point I lose interest because like you essentially just lost my my impulse buy, because that's all I do at cons anymore is just impulse buy stuff.
Yeah.
Because I've got all the core things that I'm going after that I'm looking for, with the exception of expensive stuff, hard to find stuff, but anything that I see on a table that I might want for either like a custom, or it's just a figure I've always wanted to check out, or maybe I'm thinking about doing this, doing that. Like if there's not a price on it, then I typically, like, unless they're just like $10, but like just real quick, $10, $15, I'm just like, oh, never mind, moving along.
Right.
Yeah.
And I guess on me that would have to be a double-edged sword on me, because as a dealer, I've done it where I don't price anything, because you want that interaction with the buyer. You want them to put interest, as in, hey, I'm interested in this. How much is it? So it's kind of like you start your negotiations that way. And of course, I can see it as a buyer, as in, oh God, I got to actually talk to this guy about the price. I really don't want to, because
I don't want to talk
he's
to
going
this sweaty sitting behind this table.
Exactly, because you never know what you don't know what they're going to ask. It's something that you might be only, $20 in, they might want 40 for it, and you're kind of like, no, that's just too much for me, and you got to do that awkward like stare down, like who's going to crack first and buy it, But I have been on that end of where, there for a while when I was, early on in my convention, and I was setting up and doing it, it would be like I would not put no prices on anything, and I would always say, just make me an offer. And 9 times out of 10, if I thought the offer was reasonable, I would accept it. There was very seldom times I turned down an offer or shot back with a different offer because they were really in the direct ballpark of what I was thinking.
You know what
That's
else?
kind of why.
Oh, go ahead, Tyler.
Well, that's kind of why I don't mind the interaction there. Like when I have to, if they don't have prices and I have to ask, like I don't mind the interaction because I know that's what dealers want. I know people want, you know what I mean? Not only do they want to talk to you, but they want to leave that long-lasting impression that they're a good dealer, they're a good business, and it's like I don't mind that. I don't mind it. Like especially if you're a good person. If I talk to you and I'm like, how much do you want for this? You say $20, but it's a $15 figure, and I come back with, well, I'll give you 10 for it. And he's like, well, you know what? Give me 12. I'll cut you a deal. Give me 12, whatever. Like if there's that wiggle room and that dialogue's there, I don't mind that. That's why I don't mind if there's no prices. But in some cases, for sure, it can be very awkward. The stinky fatties where you're like, hey, can I talk to the guy who owns this? Well, yeah, one sec, we'll go get him. And he comes back from his $3 greasy ass pizza slice, and he's dripping everywhere, and he's got grease all over his face and hands, and he tries to shake your hand, and you don't want to touch it because you don't want to get mold on your hands. Just unpleasant. I paint a picture. It's not always accurate.
No, that's true. Now,
I'll tell you what I hate most, more than stuff that is non-priced, is bins. Like a lot of people love that digging through a bin looking for treasure shit, like stuff. Like I'm not that guy. Like I don't care what's in that bin. You can tell me that there's an 85% probability that there's a green Ramulus in this bin where everything's $20. I will tell you no thanks. I just stuff. I mean, it can be bagged, it can be loose. It does not matter. Like worse when it's loose. Like, it's not so bad when everything's bagged and you can kind of separate bags. When you're just pulling figures out and parts are coming off of them left and right, man, it's a different kind of thing, man. Like, it just turns me off to the deal entirely, because then it's just like, well, now I got to dump everything out, look for these tiny pieces that they may or may not even have. That's 30 minutes of my con time, just so they hope I see something else that I may want, that I may have to look for some more parts or whatever for. Like, it just becomes a waste of time, and it's just a pain. Like, I'm just not.
It's kind of like when we went to Toy Vault in Cincinnati. Remember, we were looking through all those bins. We were pulling all those plastic bags. That was a nightmare.
Nothing was organized. Granted, there was some cool stuff to be found and all of that, but nothing was organized. Like a Takara Rhinox mixed in with Siege Starscream and Generations toys and stuff like that. Like, I get it, if you're, I guess.
The only time I could see it being fine, being loose like that, is if it's a parts bin.
Right, just the parts.
If it's just figures for parts, you know what I mean? Because then you don't mind if like parts come off. Like, if you're looking for stuff, you go through the bin and you're looking for the small parts that you're after to complete other figures. That's what I don't mind if it's loose. But I'm completely with you. If it's just like a bin of loose figures, because it's like, as soon as you pick one up, say he doesn't have a weapon, you automatically think maybe the weapon's in here, and now I got to dig through this whole bin to find it just in case, so I have a complete figure.
So I've seen dealers, I know when I put stuff together, I always put it in a Ziploc bag, because you rather have it all together, because, it's an easier, faster sale, to where the person might pull it out of the bin and they spend 5 minutes and they're like, you know what, screw it, just throw it back in the bin and walk off.
I do that I've done that.
Yeah, I have too. So the reason I bring that up is because I know you'll be going to that you will yourself be going to TFCon, so that'll probably be some of the stuff you'll run into, though, won't it?
Maybe. Like, I'm not really going to look through tables and look for figures and stuff. I'm really going because a friend of ours, a mutual friend of mine in Dakota's, is going to the Toronto one for the first time with himself and his girlfriend. We're splitting a room, and it's just going to be a good time meeting these guys for the first time. But I don't know. As far as like, I'll walk around, I'll take a look, but like, I don't feel like I'm ever gonna do any digging, looking for anything specific. I'm much like Dakota, where I prefer an impulse buy now, because I've found everything really that I'm looking for, and anything else that I do want will not be I will not be purchasing from a con at con prices.
That's the thing. I found a lot of stuff at cons that are decently priced, and usually when they're not, I've always had great experience just talking them down to, if it's right at eBay or right below eBay, or something reasonable. I've always had some pretty good luck at that. But
and since I don't want to cut you off, you proved a good point when you say eBay prices. You ran into that at my con last weekend, where someone was asking $150 for the 3-pack of Sharkticons, which, if I'm correct, they were loose. They weren't bagged, right?
Well, two of them were. They all came bagged. 2 of them were sealed. 1 of them was opened. So,
and he wanted $150, and you're like, "Hey, eBay price is this. I can go here right now and get this for this price, free shipping, for this amount of money." And he matched it automatically.
Almost immediately. He was, granted, he was probably, there's no telling. He's probably been sitting on those Sharkticons for 10 years,
He's been sitting on for a while. I know that.
Or at least at the bare minimum, 3 years since the club got rid of them or whatever. So yeah, it's definitely like, and like, that's something to think of too. Like, you never know how long these dudes have been sitting on these things, and just to kind of like just go for it. And honestly, like, I felt that 33 and change a piece was fair to me. That was fair. That's what I looked to pay for them. And like even though I could have probably bumped it down to 90, because eBay fees and ship, but that kind of haggling just wasn't worth $10 to me. Some people they're all about pinching those pennies, and that's cool. More power to you. I'm not that guy. I saw the trade off as, well, I get it now. I don't have to wait for it, because if there's one thing another thing I can't stand, it's waiting for a package. So yeah,
I'm right there with you. I can't stand waiting for a package. Like, when's it going to be here? When's it going to be here? Where are they at?
Well, it's like even
even
with the and the most recent things I've waited on have come from China and Japan, and it's just like the way that the Japanese package, not so bad. The China packages, because they're all drop shipping and sending them out through like Inwood, New York, and all this other stuff. It's just like, okay, when's this U.S. Postal Service shipping number gonna start updating and going? You know what I mean? And it just like that's, but shut up.
The one thing that burns me up more than anything else is when you buy something from somebody and they advertise it as priority shipping, but then they send it first class.
Well, first class often gets to me within the same amount of time. And I'll be honest, I'm one of those sellers, man. Like, I don't ever go through the throes of like, measuring a package and weighing it and stuff like that. Like, I know about like essentially, like, I offer free shipping whenever I sell stuff. 9 times out of 10, it's free shipping. And I usually will not, like, most of the time, if it's something that weighs a lot, like it's only a 30-cent difference between retail ground and priority, I send it priority, because who gives a shit about 30 cents? Now, some sellers I've run into, they absolutely will pinch that 30 cents off, and it pisses me off to no end. But like, I'm not that guy. Even if it's stuff that I do charge shipping for, even if I end up coming out paying more for the shipping on my end, I just don't care about that little bit of difference. I'm selling to get it out of my house and make room for other stuff. But if it's something like I've got listed as free shipping and, I say it's priority, but I find out it can go first class, guess what? It's going first class. Like, I'm already footing the bill on that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that's how I look at that.
You know what I hate about shipping?
Okay. What's that?
When people ship from FedEx for like $20+ for something that should only cost maybe $9 or $11 at most. That drove me up the wall. And like, I don't blame the guy, but I had a package that I had something that I wanted. He grabbed it for me and he shipped it to me. But I guess he's never shipped out before, so he just immediately thought FedEx and spent an extra $20 on shipping that he didn't need to spend. And then he was like, "So are you gonna cover it?" Like, yeah, man, of course.
Yeah.
But like, for next time, don't.
Dude, that G2 breakdown that I bought, instead of paying $10 for shipping, I had to pay $50 because the dingus shipped it UPS. I was like, as soon as he said it's going out UPS, I was like, wait. He goes, well, label's already made. I was like, you piece of shit. Like, man, I was hot over that. I was like, dude,
we've gone too far to back out now.
Was it $50 because of the insurance?
Maybe, but like, dude, UPS and FedEx, like, that stuff's too unreasonably high, anyways. But
and I've worked there. They throw shit and stomp all over it in these warehouses. I've seen it. So I wouldn't trust anything that valuable through them to deliver.
Well, I mean, like, maybe insured, it's it's not such a bad deal. Like, they probably see that insurance and they're like, oh shit, that could be my job. Especially something that's going to be insured for $600. Like the package I just mailed out today to Chris for something to get signed at TFCon. I insured it for $800. I guarantee you, whoever handles that box is probably going to be sweating bullets, because if something happens to it and they backtrack it, like, whoever that employee is going to get ass rammed by me personally.
You know who's not going to be sweating bullets?
He's gonna throw it on his table.
Not even hit the table.
He's
We're
gonna
going to throw it over the Hey, Blue, bang!
Yeah.
Like volleyball. We'll just play. The table will be the net.
Yeah, that's the trade-off. That's the Canadian trade-off.
Back and forth. Yeah.
All right. So we're going to switch over to another topic, and the reason I bring this up is that Dakota's playing with it, and I actually have one as well. Recently, this past Monday, a link was shared in our group chat over on Facebook, and of course, it was shared everywhere else. I think anyone who knew about it was that Target had put up as in stock the new Transformer Siege Red Wing, which, to my understanding, at first was supposed to be a Hasbro Pulse item only. And so, granted, I'm driving down the highway trying to order this thing.
You freaking!
I had to pull over and finish it to make sure it went through all the way. And so I was like, okay, let's see if I actually get it. Yes, I do. And so I get the emails as we're going through and all this, and then then it sells out. Then everyone starts talking, and come to find out, to my understanding, was that these weren't supposed to go up yet.
Right. I don't know about that much. The only thing I know is that they were supposed to be limited to Target Red Card holders, which I don't have a Target Red Card. I don't shop at Target. I just don't live close enough to a Target to shop at a Target. But anyways, so I heard that they were supposed to be Red Card member exclusive, yada yada yada. And I mean, they're still going to be exclusive to Pulse, but it's like this figure in general is just strange. Like, the typical outlets like Robot Kingdom and the various Chinese and even Taiwan, Hasbro Asia, whatever. Like they got a few of these out. Like they just they just had the Skywarp and the G2 Breakdown 2-pack come out recently.
You remember there was a guy at Pete's RoboCon that actually already had this.
Right. Well, that was again, like that was Robot Kingdom. I think it was like $90 on Robot Kingdom or something like that. And this isn't a $90 figure. Like I'm messing with it right now, and it's neat, and I can't figure it out. But is it $90 neat? Absolutely not. But so Robot Kingdom had some. I think even Chosen Prime had a few that they sold for that kind of early bird price. And again, we kind of saw the same thing with the Siege G2 Sideswipe. But before that, there was an online store on one of the it was either one of the Chinese markets or one of the Taiwan markets that they got an early 100-piece limited release a month ago. And then, they're supposed to go up on Pulse on August 1st. I think the Sideswipe and the Skywarp and all that other stuff, that's supposed to be Amazon stuff, and it'll go up whenever it goes up. But I don't. Yeah, it's strange. But apparently someone at Target miffed. Well, they messed up.
The other part of this discussion I want to bring up is that yes, this was a screw up. It was, to my understanding, it wasn't supposed to go up yet, and it was limited to red card holders, which again, I'm not one. I got mine yesterday. And what's really funny is about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, if people remember the Power Ranger Legacy Red Ranger sword, that was like a big item, like $150 toy, or an item that you would buy for collectors or whatever the case may be. And at first, the only place you could really get that was either online retailers or Toys R Us. Well, Target, again, they listed it was listed as the, how was it listed? It was basically listed kind of like the child's version Red Ranger sword. But what they ended up doing was that they listed it completely wrong, and they listed it as the Legacy sword, but the picture was the toy version, like from the movie, which you would have got for like $15. So they list this up there, and a $150 toy listed at $15 is what it actually ended up being. So it was up there for $15.99 or $14.99. I can't remember which one it was. So everybody starts ordering this sword. They're ordering 2 or 3 at a time, and everyone's like, "Oh, you're not going to get them. They're going to realize their mistake. They're going to cancel all your orders." Nope.
The sky is falling, the end is nigh, etc., etc.
People were getting 2 or 3 of these Legacy swords for $15 a piece, turn around selling them for $100 a pop. So not only have I seen it now once, but twice for sure, where Target has screwed up on their online. So that would basically tell you, like, damn, Target. I mean, are y'all in California? Do y'all smoke weed on a regular basis out there? Is that what the problem is?
It's Colorado, old
really
man, but
well, it's California. I mean, California, let's be honest. You can smoke that anywhere you want to out there.
That's true. Man, I don't know. I think what it is, I think it's like, and like the person that found this thing, like, come on, like how, like how is someone just like watching Target expecting Red Wing to pop up? You know what I mean? Shout out to the guy that is always just, I assume it's a guy, probing the internet, websites and all that for, new stuff to pop up. Like, they the real MVP, I suppose. But yeah, man, like I just like me, I would not have been the one to be like, yo, Target, because like,
yeah,
you don't check Target for Transformers. I mean, like maybe they may still have some construct bots in stock, but
so does this person, I mean, should they be in charge of the person who did this? Should he even still be employed, knowing that they goofed up and possibly broke a street date? And not only that, but their own rule of, oh, hey, this is for red card members only. And not one of these sons of bitches were a red card. Cause let's be honest, a bunch of us nerds are not really red card holders.
No, dude. Well, like Target has nothing to offer me as a shopper. First of all,
didn't they also put something out, and the street date wasn't until the 28th of July? I don't know, what was it? It wasn't Springer.
It was, well, I think Springer was one of those. But there were a couple of things that there wasn't
maybe it was, but yeah, they took it from customers, said we can't sell it to you, and just put it right back on the shelf.
Right,
and then like essentially you just had to wait for the person that didn't care about their job to like go ahead and ring it up, sell it, whatever.
Now the understanding on that was that there is not a street date on the Springer. The street date was in Target's own system because they're having a toy reset, and they want to make sure that they have these items in stock for when the reset switches over, was what I heard. Whether that's true or not, take it for a grain of salt. But that kind of makes more sense to me.
Fix that problem by, I don't know, stocking shit, ordering stuff.
Being better at your job.
Yeah.
And as far as like this whole Hasbro Pulse thing, this Red Wing just randomly showing up at Target, I feel like Hasbro Pulse is going to go away just as quick as HasCon did, because that's a mess.
No, man, Pulse is offering too many exclusives, I think. Like I don't think Pulse is going to go away.
Yeah, like Red Wing.
Well, like that's the thing that's weird, man. Like, the G2 Megatron, granted, you can still go find that if you want it. It never it never showed up anywhere else, but it was exclusive to Pulse, and like Red Wing, I thought was supposed to as well. Like, so the Target thing, like that was never knew about going in.
But let's also talk about all the canceled orders that Hasbro Pulse has been giving people.
Oh, for the Ectotron?
That people have, not even just the Ectotron, but just like some like regular figures that people order. Let's talk about that you pre-order figures on Hasbro Pulse, and it takes them longer to ship it to you than it takes Walmart to get it.
See,
You know what I mean? Like,
I
these
mean,
are all stupid things that Hasbro Pulse should be on top of, but they're just not.
as far as like the stuff getting canceled, like I don't know any specifics about that. And I also don't know if like maybe these people that are getting their stuff canceled like don't know what like maybe they're uh maybe their cards are not going through or something to do with their card or their credit card or their bank card or whatever. Like so far, granted, I haven't bought a whole lot of stuff from Pulse, so I'm not the guy to talk about how great they should be or would be or they are or whatever.
Right.
The few like the well, actually, I guess at this point in time, there's two things I've ordered. One thing is supposed to be released in August, and that's the only thing I've actually pre-ordered properly. So far, that's fine. I know the deal with the Ectotron's coming out is pretty harsh. That's definitely some stuff they got to work on. But I mean,
do you think
they're
they'll actually have the time to work on it, or do you think people will give up on them the same way they gave up on HasCon?
no, man, because like the thing is, they
HasCon was dead in the water from the get go.
yeah, HasCon was dead like before it even really properly got off the ground. But the deal with like Pulse is the replacement for Hasbro Toy Shop. Love that or hate that. You know what I mean? Like that's essentially what they are. But in my opinion, it's Hasbro Toy Shop done right. Because now it's more geared towards the collectors. If you ask me, that's what I would tell you is that instead of there being a bunch of like Littlest Pet Shop stuff on there, it's like, hey, here's action figures. They got Marvel Legends, Star Wars, and Transformers, and Nerf, I guess. So I wouldn't necessarily hold that against them, but I don't think they're going to go away like HasCon because they get too much stuff. Like it's real easy just to check Pulse and be like, there's the new wave of toys I want and pre-order them and then it's done.
But is it
now
not a gamble of whether or not you get them or get them before the stores do?
so
Or
I mean, like
it's an
as far
exclusive, but now it shows up at Target.
as like getting them before the stores do, like that's just the game you play. Like, if you're going to order something, just stick to your guns, like wait it out. Wait it out for them to ship your stuff to you. Stop being such an impatient little girl and just, just get this, just get the stuff you ordered and wait on it. You know what I mean? Like there's too much impatience in this fandom, I think, and it's just too out of hand. But
or you could just keep the receipt and take it back to the store when your order comes in.
absolutely, you can do that too.
I'm guilty of it.
I mean, I've done it too. I'm not even gonna lie.
No, I mean, there is times where I am impatient because, like, I ordered it. Why hasn't it hit? Oh, but guess what? My local Walmart all of a sudden got something new, and it's exactly what I wanted. So I'll go ahead and run down there and get it. Make sure I keep my receipt, and as soon as I get it, run back to the store, get my money back.
Yeah,
I'm guilty. Quick note on this. I looked it back up on a TFW. JT Prime 17. He posted at Monday at 6:32 a.m. in stock, shipped and sold by Target, and he had the link.
That dude's a Target insider. That dude works at Target.
Yeah. So, do you even know? Someone had asked in the chat. Do we know when he was actually supposed to go up on Pulse? Do we have an idea?
August 1st. August 1st.
August 1st. So, there is your answer, Chris. That was asking about that. Another thing I want to point out, which I found very interesting, is what Tyler said, or maybe Dakota, I can't remember what one of y'all said, where someone they don't care about their job. And another thing that is very, when you go to Target, and this is really Target's problem, usually, it's kind of like, hey, it's street day, we put it on the shelf, but if someone takes it up to the register and it rings up, you can't sell it, they're the first one to run out there like the police and take that shit away from you. But then when it's time for it to go on the shelf, that shit's nowhere to be found.
Where is it?
They can't find it. Exactly. And this goes to a guy I know who lives up in Northeast Arkansas. Sometimes he goes up to St. Louis, and apparently there's this kid at Target who does not care about his job, and he knows that this store has these certain Funko Pops that are street dated that are there at the store. Well, no, I'm just saying it's a fact. The kid will go back there and sell him the whole entire case of these Funko Pops and ring them up underneath another Funko Pop.
Well, that's like, if you're fortunate enough to live in an area where there is a Target that has self-checkout, like the trick, and it works at Walmart's mostly, is you bring you bring another Voyager figure or whatever up there, you scan it, then you put the one you want in the bag and just leave the Voyager figure just kind of up there. I mean, it's kind of crappy because like now, like there's someone that has to go back and put that on the shelf, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, you still get your thing, you still bought something. So I feel like it's, I guess, better, maybe justified. But, like, again, I guess you just can't live in like rural Arkansas. And,
I'm not in the rural Arkansas.
Hope you have, all of Arkansas is rural Arkansas. I hope that you have, a Target that's got the self-checkout. It's like, but that's the thing, man. Like, I don't get that. Like, like me, I've ordered, I wanted Springer, Impactor, and Mirage. Chances are I'm going to sell Mirage before I even open it. Maybe. Like, I'm a big fan of Mirage, but like all the promo images, I just don't like what I'm seeing, which is crazy because he's such an easy thing to pull off. I don't know. I just love those Formula One cars, and maybe they'll release it as a lead foot, but that's neither here nor there. But like I've ordered all that stuff through you, Mike, and like I know I can probably hit maybe of the 3 Walmarts in my area, one of them will probably have Springers. But like I have no interest. I have no interest in picking it up and then waiting, because I've already paid you for my stuff, which is another thing that I try to do. Like I try to just pay it in advance, and I'm done with it. But like I did that. I did that with you, and like I don't care. Like if it's in my area, if it was a 5-minute walk, I would not care. I would be like, no, I already got these coming. You know what I mean? Like that's just the person I am. Like I'm not gonna essentially go out of my way to just because like it's here, it's now, I want it now. Like no, like that's gonna come at a time when there's gonna be nothing coming in the mail and there's nothing I'm looking forward to, and it's like waiting on these MPs to drop, and I can just, oh hey, this new thing that everyone else is already bored with. Now I will say that it depends, because I almost did pay $70 for that Sideswipe 2-pack. I'm still looking at them. I'm still looking at them on eBay for like $90 just because I really want it. But like I know that eventually it's coming to Amazon, and that's the only thing that's kind of holding me off. I'm like, well, I'm gonna get it one way or another. So,
right, I'm kind of the same boat. I mean, you had mentioned that, and I was like, well, maybe, but I'm on the same boat you are. I don't want that Slam Dance or whatever his name is.
That's the thing. Like the more I'm looking at it, the more I'm looking at it, the more I'm digging it. Maybe you can sell yours to Josh, and I'll keep, I'll just keep the 2-pack. That way, you at least got someone to buy it from you. We'll iron those details out.
No, that's fine. Either if I sell, I sell. If I don't, I don't. I want it strictly because of G2 Sideswipe.
Right. Like it should have never been a 2-pack. And like, man, like I really hope that was the first one out instead of Greenlight. Like, don't get me wrong, man. The Greenlight thing's cool, but it's like it's not G2 Sideswipe cool. And like, there's already a Shapeways kit out there ready to go to give them the wheel spikes and the bandolier and all that. Like, I want it so bad.
Yeah, I don't blame you. You got anything else you want to share on that, Tyler?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Yeah. I want to get to this next one, which I find very interesting. It was on Instagram, and I don't know if it was on any of the other social media, but Hasbro Pulse had posted a video of G.I. Joe during their opening scene with all the fireworks and said, happy 4th of July.
Yeah, the coolest '80s movie opening ever.
Right. And so basically they post this. And so the fandom is like, all right, shut the F up and give us our new G.I. Joe toys. Why are you teasing us? So can we honestly say that Hasbro maybe was trolling the G.I. Joe community? Because all of a sudden, with Bobby Vallis Kickstarter and him, getting these names of, and letting the fandom know, hey, a lot of these names you really like are up for grabs because Hasbro gave up the trademark on them.
Now, let me kind of raise that question before we really dig into it. Do you think that in the modern day there's room for Tiger Force and what is it, like Night Force and now Action Force? I would be more like inclined to be like, okay, maybe they could do some because wasn't that like UK related?
That was all UK. What's funny is that they did have the license because they let the club use it for Tiger Force in 2015 and Night Force in 2013. So when that was done, Hasbro said,
5 years ago.
So Hasbro's like, okay, we have no intentions in using it, which granted, they have basically said they had no intentions in using it. So what's the point in keeping up the trademark? We'll just go and get it when we're ready. Now they might be at the point to where they will lose these trademark license names to fans picking them up.
Well, it's funny because like that was a problem they dealt with in Transformers. Like they would even do what they could to keep some of those Transformers names. And a lot of like G.I. Joes and Transformers kind of share names back and forth and all that. But I don't think that, and I hate to be the guy because I know you are Tiger Force Mike. Like I just don't think there's a future. You know what I mean? Like I don't see them doing any kind of a subline or anything to that nature. What I do want to touch on is the 4th of July post. I don't think that was a tease at all. I think that was just, hey, happy 4th of July. This is, G.I. Joe, synonymous with real American hero, 4th of July, America birthday #1. I think that's all that was. I think that all that was just a typical, marketing. Now, had they lost the G.I. Joe name, then okay. But like they seem to at least still be picking that one back up, right? Like despite not having done anything with it in a few years now, other than the official club. So I mean, they still probably got 2 or 3 more years of longevity out of it. But I just don't. I think that G.I. Joe going forward is not going to see all those like crazy sublines and sub teams and things like that. I think it's just going to be, if there is a release, it's just going to be, just squared away G.I. Joe. And I think as far as like Tiger Force is concerned, they can stick Tiger Force, like they can call it Tiger Force Flint and still get away with it, I think, because the name Tiger Force Flint would still be trademarked.
Right.
But Tiger Force by itself would not. I think maybe, and like that would be one of those things up to Bobby. Like if they wanted to do like, Action Force, whatever. If Bobby wanted to pursue that, he could, but I think he would lose.
Right.
Anyways, that's kind of my opinion on it. Is that it wasn't a teaser or anything. It was just a standard 4th of July post.
Okay.
I think G.I. Joe is what, the all-American hero, right? So like, why not use him on the American holiday, 4th of July, as Dakota keeps saying.
That's like Marvel, man. Like Marvel, like all those Captain America memes. America's ass. Like I guarantee you, someone at Disney brain trusted that out. You know what I mean? Like, and it made.
You know what? I bet you Mike is tongue deep in America's ass right now.
You're not talking about me, right?
He knows.
No.
Okay.
He knows Chris Evans, and he's holding out.
Yeah.
What a cock! I want to be tongue deep in Chris Evans.
Let me tell you, he's checking his temperature. That's how deep he's going.
Oh my god! Damn! All up that anus.
He's checking the temperature of America.
Yeah, he's on the pulse of America, if you will.
Right.
Man, Chris Evans should run for president. I think he'd win on Captain America alone.
Dude, absolutely. Like he's,
I think if he would.
I think if he announced it, I think it's a no-brainer. He 100%. Like
and he would win for the same reason that Trump won.
I have never voted. I just can't find a candidate to get behind. Like Chris Evans could come out right now and say some super dumb policy shit, and I'm like, that's Captain America, and I'm voting for him.
It's un-American not to vote for Captain America.
Right.
Oh my god. That's funny.
And I think he's what is it, 45 is the which that's stupid too. The presidential minimum age requirement's like 40 or 45 or something dumb like that. Could be.
I think it's younger than that.
Wasn't
Kennedy? Wasn't Kennedy like 40 or 42?
Kennedy had to have been 40, so it may be 40.
I mean, 35.
Do you think it's 30? Okay, because I don't know why I always thought it was like 40 or 45, but we get all these like 50 to 70-year-old dudes running our country, and I'm just like, no, we don't need you.
That's because it took them that long to finally get enough courage to run for president.
It took them that long to sell their souls, apparently.
Can you imagine? Captain America takes over as president of the United States. All Marvel fiction replaces Bibles in every church.
what I was gonna say, like that's some real secret empire shit going on. Like, we have Supreme Hydra Captain America.
And then when the Russians invade, it turns over and it's Hail Hydra.
Dude, Chris, like that's the thing, man. Chris Evans is still pretty swole. Like I'm sure he'll keep up that workout regimen. Like anyone invades, like he'll just be out there like throwing a disc and punching people with his big swole muscles.
Until it's time to Hail Hydra.
Yeah, until it's time to Hail Hydra.
Then they're on his payroll.
Absolutely. I went ahead and Googled it. It's 35.
Oh, it is 35? Okay.
No person except a natural born citizen or a citizen of the United States at the time of the adoption of this Constitution shall be eligible for the office of president. Neither shall any person or eligible of the office who shall not have attained the age of 35 years. That's
something else we need to do over, man. All this legal mumbo jumbo, like just say, hey, you got to be 35 and born in the States. Just keep it.
You have to be a US
or a natural citizen. Yeah, whatever. I mean, I know you don't have to be born in the States to be a natural born citizen, but like it could be a 2-sentence thing, and instead you just read off like 5 sentences of mumbo jumbo. Lawyer
exactly.
speak.
You're right.
Yeah. That's the American attention span, ladies and gentlemen. I don't need no 5 sentences. Bring it down to 2.
Well, I mean, you really don't. Like I'm all about preserving the trees. And there's a lot of paper that's wasted on some, 6,000-page law that just says, hey, don't do this.
To be fair, they're not printing out the 6,000-page law to hand out to every house like a phone book.
Of course not, because then, we would know better. Why would we want to do that?
So far off the beat.
We really have. Well, we started talking about G.I. Joe, and I felt it was my constitutional to talk about Captain America. Do it, Chris Evans. Run for president.
What's next?
All right. Here's something we actually talked about on Stasis Lock, and I wanted to bring it up.
Recycled material. I'm used to this.
Do what?
It's a recycled material. I'm used to this.
Well, I just think, the fandom being biased. And y'all, and Dakota, you're more than welcome to bring up the name of the page if you want to. I don't care here if you bring it up or what you want to say. But I mean, you had brought up how
now biased towards what? Because I know the thing, the point I was trying to make is that there was a bias against Beast Wars. But I mean, we can definitely expand upon that because there are other biases out there in fandom, especially when it comes to the ones running the news.
Do we think that all places are biased? I mean, other stuff that you collect as far as outside of Transformers, which I know ain't much, but I know like Halo and Marvel Legends and your 3 3/4, do you find other places that you go to that I might not go to that might be biased?
That's the thing, man. Like I don't, again, like you kind of said it. Like I don't follow the other handful of things that I'm into too terribly closely. As far as like, I'll see it pop up on Facebook or on Twitter, and I'm like, sweet, let's get it. Um, and like that's kind of the thing, man. Facebook and Twitter are phasing out these forums and news sites and all this other stuff because now like you can get it quick, fast, and on the go instead of, well, let me check the front page of insert website. That said, like I know a lot of those websites still do generate traffic because there's a lot of people that are on those websites that don't do Facebook, don't do Twitter, don't do any of that. They do email and like that's it. But I've noticed it more so in Transformers. Maybe it's because I'm more submerged into Transformers, which is why I have noticed it. Like it seems like whatever Marvel Legends pumps out or Star Wars Black Series pumps out, like Marvel, Star Wars, whatever, it's gonna get any and all attention. But in Transformers, there's definitely like a power struggle of sorts, I think.
As in, like we've said, they'll talk about G1 all day long, but if you bring up a Beast Wars subject, they put you in the corner like the redhead stepchild.
Well, I'll be honest, and like let's go ahead and let's go ahead and get it out there on the table. Conventions. The one thing that we really didn't cover on Stasis Lock was there's a bias to who runs these conventions. Big or small, it does not matter. If they're not part of that kind of inner circle, they typically don't get the same amount of coverage. They get shoved in a forum that gets little to no foot traffic, and like that's just that. And that these startup cons or even cons that have been around for a minute, they just kind of get buried, and because whoever is on top of within the friend circle, like that's just how they want it. They don't want any competition. And I mean, I guess if you can control the market, would you do anything different? I know for me, like competition just makes for a better outcome for everyone. It's there's more ideas that get bounced off of everyone in the circle or outside of the circle, but usually if it's not, I think it was either Charticon or Slagacon. I couldn't tell you which one it was, and that says something. That says something because those two things weren't front page. Or
neither one of them were.
Right, neither of them were, and I don't think either of them are around. So,
nope. Well, now Slagacon, the guy who was running that, he unfortunately passed away.
Then it may be I may be thinking of Slagacon because I think he was the one that was trying to get a lot of stuff that he was doing front page. Really cool stuff, like offering a custom painted exclusive from a toy and it looked really cool. It was a really cool concept, a really cool idea, but he wasn't in the right circle of friends. So,
no.
He tried doing that. I think he even tried his own like new mold exclusive. I think like he had voice. He ended up getting like essentially buried under the debt of having to go through and do all that because running cons ain't cheap. No. You would know that, Mike.
Yep, not cheap at all. I mean, now granted, where I'm at on mine, it took me 11 years to get there, but it's like, we've had the same issues here in Arkansas where someone sees, oh, hey, they're making money doing this. I can do this too. And then they go and they start their show, and in their area, they might run the person who's been doing it for a while out, and they come in there and, oh, yeah, we're going to bring in this guy and this guy and this guy, and we're going to charge $10 to get in. We're a first-year con, and, yeah, we're going to charge you $10. And then that's the only time you ever hear from them because there's been 2 in Arkansas that started out like that, and they're nowhere to be seen again.
Right. And to be
They're
fair, Comic Cons are like a dime a dozen. You know what I mean? Transformer specific conventions, they really aren't. It may look that way, but if you look at where they're held on the map, there's not a whole lot out there. There's TF Expo, which is in Kansas City. There's RoboCon in the Cincinnati, Kentucky, Ohio area. There is TFCon, which did Los Angeles and DC this year, and they're in Toronto. Then there's SideFest Northwest, which is up in Seattle, which is pretty close to Los Angeles, but I mean that's just a very densely populated area, anyways. And then you got like TF Nation in the UK. So if you look at it geographically, there really isn't a lot. And I think SlagaCon was held in, was that North Carolina?
No,
somewhere.
SlagaCon was Indiana.
Was SlagaCon Indiana? Then maybe CharterCon was North Carolina.
It only lasted 2 years.
Yeah, but again, they didn't get any exposure despite having guests and an exclusive item.
Exclusive. That was the one that did some really cool exclusives.
There was like a Quake from Warpath, and it was in a custom box, and there was like a foam cutout for it. And I mean, it was just very well done and presented. I never knew about it until I saw Jim. He had one at the BotCon 2015 in his room. He was just like, "Dude, look at this," and like, it was dope. Look, and I was like, "Man, why didn't I see anything about this? I didn't even know this was a thing. I didn't even know it. It happened." And that's because if you're not within the right group of people, they want to essentially sweep you under the rug, and maybe they wish you the best, maybe they hope for the worst, and it's not right. It's just not right.
No,
Tyler, what you got on this, man? I know you got to be drumming something up. Good talk, Tyler.
Chatty as fuck, isn't he?
Yeah, he really is. I bet he's muted. He'd rather know he's muted.
No, he's not muted. Oh yeah, he was muted. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Well,
or maybe he's trying to talk to me. He's having an issue. I don't know. Well, if he comes back in, then we'll talk. See if he has anything to say. The last subject I wanted to talk about, which has really been kind of hot this week, Disney came out and they're going to do a new Little Mermaid. I believe it's going to be live action, and they have casted a African American girl as the part, which basically is taking over from the white ginger female role. And people are some are okay with it. A lot of people are up in arms about it.
I wouldn't say a lot of people.
I'm over here. Well, and I'm actually over here like, Disney, can you not think of not one fucking thing to do instead of remakes?
Well,
You're remaking The Lion King, The Aladdin.
Dude, first of all, watch your mouth on that Lion King remake. Like, they're doing live action iterations of all these classic Disney animated films. As somebody,
but they're doing the cartoon into live. Yes, I get that, but I mean, they're like really almost word for word. I mean, I saw Aladdin and every bit of it almost. I mean, like 90% of it was like from the cartoon.
That's perfect. Like I was those word for word. Like now it's live action remake. Like I think that's awesome, and like I'm super looking forward to the Lion King because like that was a big deal for me. As like a little kid, I love the Lion King. Now, remakes, whatever aside, let's get to the subject at hand. Ariel. So to kind of like go ahead and just get into it, the actress that they chose to portray her, she looks like she's from the Caribbean. This show, the Little Mermaid takes place in the Caribbean. Like she, and I think that has a lot to do with just the, what I would call. Hey, Tyler.
Okay,
We hear you now.
I was trying to talk for like 5 minutes, and you just couldn't hear me.
Yeah, dude, you were muted.
No, we couldn't hear a word you were saying. I'm sorry.
No, wasn't muted. I was.
No, he wasn't.
trying
No,
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know what happened.
no, he wasn't.
Tyler,
As
you were
far as
muted. I don't know.
As far as the con stuff goes, I'm not as involved as the rest of you guys are. But personally, I think public bias should be publicly executed. Bam.
What do you mean public bias should be publicly executed?
Like the bias against Beast Wars and the whole like the cons being biased. It was just a joke, the whole public execution thing. But like,
okay. I was like executed how? But no. I get you now.
yeah. I don't know, man. I think we're at a point like I don't think like bias like that should even be tolerated. I think we're fucking far along enough that we can all have our little piece of the pie now. Like we should all just be celebrating. Like as far as Transformers goes, anyway. Like we should all just be celebrating all avenues of Transformers, including Beast Wars, which is what I appreciated the IDW comics for doing, because even though there wasn't too Beast Wars heavy at all, but it gave the nods. You know what I mean? With like Sins of the Wreckers when they introduced the Carnivac and the whatchamacons. I don't remember what their name was. Chimericons, right?
Yeah.
And like other Beast Wars characters and stuff. Like, I don't know. I think it's stupid for these people who are running cons to suppress Beast Wars. I think everything should just be celebrated. I don't think G1 is the be all end all. Like we all know what my opinion is on the G1 thing, but I don't think anyone else should be suppressed on what they like, and just to push like G1 fans, I guess. I don't know. I think it's dumb. But I'm not as involved. I don't have any like I don't know about the whole Slagacon or Hexatron or Do Your Mom or whatever. I don't have anything on that. I'm not as involved. I'm going to like my 4th con now, which is TFCon this year. And like I'm just going as a fan because I'm a fan of Transformers. So I don't know. If they're like publicly hating Beast Wars, I mean, I'll just start throwing hands. I got no problem. I'll have Mike with me, and he'll back me up. I hope. So.
Well, it's the deal with like the conventions. They're not like biased against Beast Wars. They're just like adamant about essentially covering up other conventions, like keeping someone else from doing something, similar or good or whatever.
Right. I don't think that's right either. I think essentially we should all, as fans, we should all be kind of pooling all of our resources together to give the rest of the fans something good. But unfortunately, money gets in the way.
Oh yeah, the greed aspect is pretty real. But back to the Ariel thing. Again, the actress looks like she looks like she's from the Caribbean. She's just got that, like skin tone, I guess. Where Ariel, like in the cartoon, man, like that didn't make any sense at all. Like she looked like she was swimming in like Scandinavian waters, and despite it being a very like Caribbean heavy theme, that like she didn't look like she was seducing sailors in the Caribbean. She looked like she was seducing sailors like Vikings. Ultimately, like I just don't give a shit about it. Like it has this whole and it hadn't even been like a full 24 hours, I don't think, or it's been like right over 24 hours. It has made me tired. It has mentally drained me because it's just, now a Disney movie is politicized. You've got far left white people telling far right white people to suck it, and you've got far right white people telling far left white people something that they should know about science. And it just like none of it it's exhausting. Like they gave the girl red hair. That's all you really need to be concerned about. Doesn't matter who it was, what she looks like. She's got red hair and she's fit. So like that's. And then, like, I think earlier we were talking about, like, Melissa McCarthy as the bad chick. Ursula.
But see, what's funny about that
that makes sense. Like, Melissa McCarthy can be a bitch, and that's what you need in an Ursula. You need an underwater, pale-looking bitch. And that's Melissa McCarthy. and
Well,
and
here's
again,
what's
she's got the build for it.
well, here's what's funny about that is that before that was brought up, Disney had announced that Queen Latifah had been cast in that role. So is she no longer part of that role, and Melissa McCarthy is? I mean, because that's
scheduling conflicts happen all the time, but like, why should it matter?
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
well, if they do singing, you got to think singing's really up Queen Latifah's territory.
Now maybe they will dub Queen Latifah's voice over. Maybe that's the deal. Maybe she's just a the singing parts of Ursula.
Maybe
which that still makes a lot of sense. But like if you show me both actresses, you show me Melissa McCarthy, yeah, dude, that's Ursula. You show me Haley Bailey or Hal Bailey or something, whatever her name is. Like Halle Bailey. I don't even know who this chick is, but like if you put her in a lineup, I'd be like, yeah, that's a pretty believable Caribbean mermaid. You know what I mean? Like that's that's all I'm asking for, and I think that's all. I think that's what they're delivering, and like I could give zero shits about the actor or actress's ethnicity. I'm sure they'll both do a good job. Again, it's Disney we're talking about. I still haven't seen Aladdin, but Aladdin, I've never really was super big on Aladdin, but I thought Will Smith as the genie was awesome. Like, if anything, I just want to wait for the super cut of all the Will Smith parts. Just because I'm a '90s kid and he was a big part of my childhood watching Fresh Prince in the '90s.
Can I sound off on this?
Yes.
This Ariel thing.
Yes.
Let me tell you something. I didn't know this was a thing until I woke up. I was scrolling through my Facebook, and someone hit me up in my inbox telling me this was a thing. I didn't see it on my timeline. I didn't see it on my Instagram, nothing. I didn't see nothing about it until somebody told me there was something about it, and everyone started talking about it. And then we started talking about it in the Stasis Lock chat, and more things started, like, people started telling, but nobody, I didn't see a public post about it except for one thing, making fun of how stupid how the outrage was.
Yeah.
That's how much this didn't hit my radar as a big thing. But everyone was telling me how much of a big thing it was.
85% of my feed was about this since it happened yesterday.
You need to start removing people from your life then.
That's that's the thing, like, and it was from both spectrums. It's from both spectrums, both of the quote unquote political spectrums. And like, dude, this should not be about politics, man. It's a Disney princess movie, for Christ's sakes.
Right.
Like that, dude. That's how I know. Like, we just need to hit the national reset button. Like, I'm just over it. Like, all of it.
This is where I stand on this whole movie. Who cares?
Thank you.
Are we all going to go see it?
I mean, maybe.
Let me ask you this: Who is chomping at the bit to see a live action Little Mermaid movie?
I'm chomping at the bits to see a live action Lion King movie.
Right, but who's asking for a live action Little Mermaid movie? I don't think anyone was asking for it until they announced it. And when they announced it, wasn't it like some polarizing thing because the casting choices then? Like, I don't think anybody wanted this until there was a problem to have with it.
I think you're right. I think you're right on that, Tyler.
That too. Yeah.
Nobody asked for this, but now that there's a problem to have with this, now people want it a certain way.
Like, oh my goodness, you're turning my characters from white to black and black to white. You can't have that.
Which is ridiculous.
That's what a lot of it. That's what a lot of it is. I mean, it's true.
Right. Like, that's the political aspect of the actresses involved. And like, I didn't even know Melissa McCarthy was Ursula until I think, Tyler, you said it in the Blackout and Shout chat.
Yeah.
And shout out to those dudes. Thank y'all for having me in y'all's chat. Just another chat to mute for a few hours throughout the day.
Yep.
But like, that outrage is crazy too. But it's like, what if Queen Latifah does get the singing parts over it? Like, is there still going to be outrage that, like, maybe she just doesn't want to physically act? Like,
man,
did anybody?
They threw an outrage because Beyonce put a new song in The Lion King.
Who cares?
Exactly. People are outraged over what? Nothing.
Because an artist got hit up to make some bank for a Disney movie? dude, get out of here. Get out of here with
God,
that
it's
bullshit.
ridiculous. It is so ridiculous.
But that's like I feel honestly, if they like let's just take the kind of go-to redhead white girl right now, which is Sophie Turner. You know, she's your Jean Grey, you know, blah blah blah, whatever. That's your kind of token ginger white chick. If they would have cast her as Little Mermaid, I would have been equally as meh over Hal Bailey.
Is it Halle Bailey?
Is it Halle Bailey? Yeah, because like that's very close to Halle Berry.
See,
But,
I thought it was Halle Berry. Yeah.
Yeah. But like I'm like, okay, cool. Honestly, I still think Halle Bailey is a better looking part for the role than Sophie Turner. And
I don't care enough to care who's the better looking part. Do you rewrite history? Take it, run, whatever.
I like pirate shit. So
this is my thing. This is my thing, right? Back in the day, the voice of the Little Mermaid, nobody cared what race she was, and then it's a fish lady. So I mean, I guess she was white, but it didn't matter. Why does it matter? I guess that's my question. Why does it matter?
That's like James Earl Jones as Mufasa. Who even cared what race James Earl Jones was as Mufasa?
Right.
Or when they cared when he was Darth Vader.
Now don't get me wrong. He's got an iconic voice, and I can't think of anyone but Darth Vader, Mufasa, etc. Other than James Earl Jones.
Right.
So, and that's when talent supersedes race, and it just doesn't happen as often as it should. Like, what if Halle Bailey is just a much better actress than Sophie Turner? And I'm not trying to cut Sophie Turner down, but she kind of only has like one attitude, and it's just like, and like that's it. Like she was the same in Game of Thrones as she was as Jean Grey. Just kind of like monotone, like and like I guess that kind of fit the Jean Grey thing. Jean Grey was never overly energetic or anything like that. Not like what Ariel would have to be, the character of Ariel in The Little Mermaid. Someone who's moving around and flailing her arms and excited and whatever. Like just let the talent pool do its thing and stop breaking shit down over race. I just like, man, I just can't, it's.
We should be beyond this.
Exhausting. We should absolutely be beyond this. But it's exhausting because it's, and like I said, it's both sides of the spectrum, and everyone on each side of those spectrums wants to blame the other side when as soon as it happens, they both were just like at each other. I mean, just immediately. And I'm like, dude, y'all need to get some kind of a hobby.
I was talking to a mutual friend of ours through the realm, Eric B, and he showed me an Instagram post of some lady, a white lady, who got upset and posted her feelings on, I think it was Instagram or Twitter, but saying like white people deserve to be represented by Ariel because we grew up with that Disney movie. We deserve to have a white mermaid. And it's like, we don't. So like
black,
anything.
Hispanic, Jewish, Asian chicks, like girls, they didn't grow up with the Little Mermaid. Get out of here, man.
That's what I'm saying, right? Good like Lord. It's ridiculous. We don't deserve anything.
I'll tell you what we deserve. We deserve quality film. That's all we deserve. Paying for a movie ticket, that is all we deserve is a quality film. I don't care.
But I'm talking about as a white race. As a white race, we don't deserve anything.
Well, no one deserves anything. Like
no, I won't. Listen, no. I won't say that's true, because throughout all of the years, more recently has gotten better. But for a large portion, black people were portrayed negatively through movies and
well, just like the Jews before them, and now it's the Hispanics. I mean, and Middle Easterners. I get you. Like everyone's had their turn.
Right. So but white people have always been portrayed really well to our white society. But now that we're becoming more diverse, it is good to let more races deserve the spotlight more than we do because we've had it for so long.
Well, I mean, like it's
That's
not like
kind of where I'm
anything's
at.
changing. I mean, is anything realistically changing? Is this, did the Earth tilt on its axis over, uh, a Black Little Mermaid?
No,
Did
but to a
yeah?
young
Well,
listen, but to a
right?
young
No, no, no,
black
no, no, no,
girl,
no. I'm speaking like
it
no,
could
no, no.
be all the difference, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. But what I'm speaking
Right.
of is from that outrage side. That outrage side, you know, is the Earth still spinning? Yes. And there's the side that feels like they've got something to kind of shove in someone else's face and like, dig in. It's like, do you feel any better now? Probably not.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, just accept it for what it is. If anything, like I have not heard a single person say, I really liked her in this movie, or I thought her performance in this was great, or oh, I saw her. Here's a clip of her doing a Broadway thing. Because a lot of these actors and actresses start out as like,
Right.
play whatever stuff, theater. Like
Yeah.
that's all I care. That's all I care about is just give me a
Quality.
quality movie. Give me a quality movie. That's the only thing that I feel I am entitled to if I'm spending my
Right.
money on it. If I'm not gonna go see it and spend my money on it, I don't care. And neither
Yeah.
should you. But like a
And
lady
I think
burning
I
all of
think
her Little Mermaid stuff, come on.
and that's what I'm saying. Like I think we're at a point now where like we should be on this. We should be on this whole race thing. Like we're as a culture, we're diverse enough now that we should just accept that diversity is a thing, and there's nothing wrong with it. And I like, yeah, that bothered me even when he showed me that. Like, someone is going to go to that petty length. I'd be like if James Earl Jones took over for Peter Cullen as Optimus Prime, and someone like who had a huge Optimus Prime shrine just decided to burn it down in a house fire and throw his two cousins in there for goodwill.
Because another deep voiced guy decided to be the new deep voiced guy. Yeah,
Because of the race thing, right?
Yeah,
It's
man,
so
it's
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
But that's the entitlement in our culture now, in our
Yeah.
society.
Well, and it's like without getting like too crazy into politics, like I let everyone know, like I'm right up the middle. That's the guy I am. I'm very much in the
Yeah.
middle. I think the extremities of both sides are asinine, but it's like you get all this stuff going on with like pride parades that really shouldn't even be happening. You know what I'm like? I don't know. Like it's just this whole thing. Like yeah, but on the
Right.
on the other side of that coin, like who cares if a group of dudes slamming monsters wants to have a pride and punching drywall? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm very much the same. I'm up the middle, but I'm more of the I don't care what you do as long as it doesn't affect me. Like, I'm happy for
yeah,
you. Be you, live your life,
absolutely.
do what you need to do, but don't come to me and, try and convert me to whatever your way of life is. That's all. Like, it's just a common respect thing. But
Absolutely.
as far as the politics go, like, just leave me out of your politics. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I don't want to lose respect
that's
for you by hearing what your political opinion is.
And another thing is, I think a lot of this also stems from like folks just can't like learn to respect that someone else has a differing set of values and opinions. Like
Absolutely.
as long as it's not causing harm to anyone,
Yeah.
go for it. Now, if you're out to cause malicious harm and spew like real vitriolic shit towards people, then no, you need to be put down and put in your place.
Right.
But if it's just like, well, this is just what I believe, and it's blah blah blah, like you shouldn't be condemned for that. Like as long as you're still showing respect to that person, and you're not trying to hinder their way of life, then it should all be good. Yeah, like that's just, and like I think we're just seeing the exact opposite of that over this Ariel thing.
Yeah.
And it's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense.
All right. With that, that'll actually be our last topic tonight. Those are the ones I can't have for tonight. But yeah, good talk. I know one guy was in here like, okay, guys, let's talk about toys.
yeah. I mean, realistically, we should have.
Well, it's kind of a nerd thing. I mean, as nerds, we still go see some of these kind of movies. You know,
I was gonna say, like, who here is picking up the Little Mermaid toys?
But
I'm
I
not
mean,
picking up the Little Mermaid toy, but I mean, I'll
to be
go see
fair,
it.
You'll get
as
the pops,
nerds,
right?
we all started as children who saw these movies growing up,
Right.
and like I think it's acceptable for us to kind of weigh in on this type of stuff because these are the cultures this is the culture and the civilization that we're bringing our kids into this world. Like I know Dakota team no kids, and Mike, I don't know if you have kids or not, but like I got a baby coming on the way, and like this is the world that I'm bringing my child into. So, you know what I mean? I think these conversations need to be had. And if it bothers you, I'm sorry, but tune in next week where it'll be a different conversation.
Right. I appreciate you really hit that right on the head. I mean, you're right. This is today's society versus what it was back in the 80s, 70s, and 60s.
Right. And we're not taking a side either. We're not all right or all left. We're not anything. We're just kind of explaining what we see and not taking a side within each of them.
Exactly. So, well said. I appreciate that. So with that being said, starting from here on out, Galactic Gumbo will be a weekly show now. So if you are watching or will watch this later on, if you have a topic that you want us to explore or to discuss, feel free to send that to me on Facebook underneath Angry Mike, and we will put that on the list of stuff to talk about. We want to hear what people want us to talk about, or if you have something you want to talk about and you want to come on the show with me and Dakota, everyone else who's supposed to be on the show can't ever make it except for Dakota. So I figured we might as well start bringing in some fresh blood. But so yeah, we'd like to hear some different topics, talk about some different stuff, different toy brands, different, stuff that's going on in, real world out there, stuff of that nature. So Tyler, I appreciate you making time, especially since you're on vacation, to do this show tonight. It was really fun having you on. Dakota, tell people where they can find you at.
You can find me everywhere at Primal Sabbath.
And you're going to TFCon next week. What's the email people need to email you at to get everything they want from you? The one you gave earlier, Tyler.
Me? Oh, yeah. Me.
Yeah, what's the email you used earlier? That's the one we want to email all the questions and wants to.
Oh, you can find me everywhere at DaltoniansTFs at DaltoniansTFs.com.
I'm going to make him a website.
Oh, my God. All right.
Please do.
All right. Thanks for everyone for chimed in and everyone who's watching. You can catch me, Dakota, and Tyler next week, Wednesday on Stasis Lock. Tomorrow night, you can catch me and Dakota on Cybercast. And then next Saturday night, I'll be on Just Nerd G.I. Joe show. So thank you for watching, and we appreciate it. Thanks a lot, guys.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.